Imagine waking up tomorrow with the ability to understand why people make the decisions they do. What if you could recognize hidden emotional patterns, predict common behaviors, and improve your relationships, career, and personal success simply by understanding the human mind? Psychology isn't about reading minds. It's about understanding the invisible forces that influence every decision we make. Every single day, your brain processes millions of pieces of information, yet your conscious mind is only aware of a tiny fraction of them. To survive and function efficiently, the brain creates mental shortcuts called cognitive biases. These shortcuts help us make quick decisions, but they can also cause us to misjudge people, believe false information, and make choices we later regret. One of the most powerful psychological principles is confirmation bias. People naturally search for information that supports what they already believe, while ignoring evidence that challenges their opinions. Imagine two people watching the exact same news story. One sees proof that confirms their beliefs, while the other reaches the opposite conclusion. The facts may be identical, but the brain filters reality through existing beliefs. This is why changing someone's mind is often much more difficult than simply presenting better evidence. Another fascinating concept is the halo effect. Within seconds of meeting someone, your brain forms an impression that influences everything else you believe about them. If someone appears confident, attractive, or successful, your mind may automatically assume they are intelligent, trustworthy, and capable, even without real evidence. First impressions are incredibly powerful because the brain prefers consistency. Once an opinion is formed, it becomes surprisingly resistant to change. Emotions also play a far greater role in decision-making than most people realize. Many believe they make logical choices, but neuroscience tells a different story. Emotions usually make the decision first, and logic arrives later to justify it. Whether buying a new car, choosing a career, or entering a relationship, emotions often guide the initial decision, while reason simply explains it afterward. This explains why marketing, storytelling, and emotional communication are so effective. Another psychological phenomenon is social proof. Human beings are deeply social creatures, and our brains constantly look to others for guidance. When we see large groups supporting an idea, purchasing a product, or following a trend, we instinctively assume it must be correct. This explains why online reviews, viral videos, and customer testimonials have such enormous influence. People often trust the actions of others more than their own independent judgment. Our environment also shapes behavior in ways we rarely notice. The people we spend time with, the content we consume, and the conversations we have gradually influence our beliefs, habits, and ambitions. Motivation isn't created in isolation, it is heavily influenced by surroundings. If you're surrounded by negativity, excuses become normal. If you're surrounded by discipline and growth, excellence becomes expected. Your environment silently programs your future. One of the greatest misunderstandings about human behavior is believing personality is fixed. Modern psychology shows that the brain possesses remarkable adaptability through neuroplasticity. Every new skill you learn, every habit you repeat, and every challenge you overcome strengthens specific neural pathways. In other words, your brain physically changes based on what you consistently practice. Confidence, resilience, discipline, and emotional intelligence are not simply traits you're born with. They are abilities that can be developed over time. Stress is another powerful force that changes behavior. Under chronic stress, the brain prioritizes survival over creativity, patience, and long-term thinking. This is why people often make impulsive decisions during emotional situations. Learning to regulate stress through mindfulness, exercise, quality sleep, and emotional awareness isn't just good for your health. It dramatically improves judgment, focus, and decision-making. Empathy may be one of the most valuable psychological skills anyone can develop. Instead of asking, "Why would someone do that?" psychology encourages us to ask, "What experiences, emotions, or beliefs led them to act this way?" This shift doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it creates understanding. The ability to understand another person's perspective strengthens relationships, reduces unnecessary conflict, and improves communication in every area of life. Perhaps the most empowering lesson psychology teaches is that awareness creates choice. Many of our daily behaviors happen automatically. We react instead of responding. We follow habits without questioning them. We repeat patterns simply because they feel familiar. But the moment you recognize these unconscious patterns, you gain the power to interrupt them. Self-awareness transforms automatic reactions into intentional decisions. Every successful leader, entrepreneur, communicator, and educator understands one fundamental truth. People are driven more by emotions, beliefs, and perceptions than by pure logic. Mastering psychology isn't about manipulating others. It's about understanding yourself first. The better you understand your own thinking, emotions, and behavior, the better equipped you become to build meaningful relationships, solve complex problems, and achieve lasting success. The human mind is one of the most extraordinary creations in existence. It has the power to create fear or courage, limitation or opportunity, failure or achievement. Every thought you repeat becomes stronger. Every habit you practice shapes your future. Every decision you make becomes part of the person you're becoming. So the next time you wonder why people behave the way they do, remember this: behavior is rarely random. It is the result of beliefs, experiences, emotions, biology, and environment working together behind the scenes. Understanding these invisible forces doesn't just help you understand others. It gives you the power to transform yourself. If this video changed the way you think, imagine what the next one could do. Like this video, share it with someone who loves psychology and personal growth, and subscribe to Millionaire Audio, where we decode the psychology of success, human behavior, and powerful thinking. Hit the notification bell and join a community that's committed to becoming wiser, stronger, and more successful, one lesson at a time.